Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Friday book review. This time is something absolutely spectacular and special in every way, shape, and form. This book is ARN of Clayhaven by our good friend Greyson De Saye. You guys may all know him as Grim De Saye on all the live streams and the chats of various YouTubers and friends of ours out there. He was kind enough to send this book to me a couple of months ago, and I'm not going to say I wanted to get to this sooner, because I honestly didn't want to get to it until later, because I enjoyed this book so much that I had to force myself to stop reading it because I was nearing the end of the book and I didn't want it to end. If you guys have watched any of my reviews before, you know that I'm a big fan of wholesomeness and innocence and for lack of a better word, fairy tale type stories with heroes that are good and characters that are admirable, to say the least. And this book is no slouch in that department. The main character, Arn, is an orphan stable boy living a meager existence, cleaning, the stables and up after people at the nearby tavern, who finds himself drafted into a war against a dark lord of sorts and his minions and his armies. And I'm not going to spoil too much, but he does become quite the hero throughout the book. Not just because of his heroic actions in combat, but because of his piety and absolute goodness of character and heart. One of the most lovely and charming stories I've read in a very long time. The closest that comes to mind from this year would probably actually be, believe it or not, Cave Girl by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Not since then have I had such a treat and such a joy to read. Not just because he's a good friend of ours and has been a great friend to the channel, but because he is a wonderful writer who goes to great lengths to really suck you into the story. Not only did he, I'm pretty sure he did the illustrations as well. I forgot to check that out, but I'm pretty sure he did all of the illustrations. And of course, he, being the absolute wonderful human being that he is, did some little sketches and a nice tribute to us here in the front of the book. So this will be in my family's collection for centuries to come. God willing that the book will endure those tests of time. But let me find a couple of the little illustrations that he did. The map, absolutely my style, the way I draw maps, from a sort of semi-side view, the way people of old would have, in my opinion, drawn their maps, not having the ability to look, from the clouds down, topographically. And he even did it all in pencil and chose not to ink it over or let the printing process darken it as if it was, black and white line art. It really brings to life that personal touch that I absolutely adore when it comes to reading books like this. Let me see if I can find one more sketch just to give you guys a good idea. There's not a lot of them, but they are okay. Here we go. This is perfect. Just very Tolkien-esque, to be honest. If you guys are familiar with Tolkien's work, he did a lot of the sketches for The Hobbit and things like that in the early days of his career. And neither of these guys are professional artists, but their skill is exactly what's needed for the project and the topic at hand. So I just absolutely fell in love with this book. And there's a short little history of the world as well at the end. Unfortunately, the sequel to this book is not yet completed, And one of the reasons I'm making this video is to urge all of you guys to go out and read this book if you can get it. I believe it's available on Amazon. And help our good friend out, but to encourage him to write the sequel, if not make it a trilogy, because it's worthy of a decalogy, in my opinion, should he choose to do so. I know he's busy working on other writing projects as well, but this is a masterpiece in just goodness, just old-fashioned goodness that is so hard to find these days, with everyone trying to be grittier and darker and grimmer and more realistic, etc., than the last guy to hit the bestseller list. This should have been there a long time ago, and it should stay there for a very long time. If you're a fan of this kind of literature, like myself, I really hope you'll do me and Grim the favor of finding a copy of this and putting it in a place of honor like we will. I cannot put into words how much I love this book and how grateful I am to have been gifted a copy of this, so personalized for my collection and for my peace of mind and well-being. I absolutely cannot say enough nice things about this. Definitely one of the great fantasy stories. And don't get me wrong, it's got plenty of action and excitement and adventure throughout the story, and a lot of interesting and unique takes on the fantasy adventure story. More than enough to keep you busy. I've read several books recently that cannot compare to this. This ranks far above the Earthsea trilogy and even some other fantasy novels. It's definitely up there in my top 10, maybe even my top 5, but that's probably a little bit more for personal reasons. But objectively, this is in the definite top 10 of fantasy literature of this sort, that being the almost fairy tale classic, old-timey style of literature that really got Dungeons and Dragons started, things like the Dying Earth and the Hobbit right there alongside them. So from all of us here at Shadow and Sun, I hope you guys will go check this book out. If you've already read it, please put something in the comments section, because my good friend Grim will be overjoyed to see how many of you have actually read this book, and to read any nice things you guys want to say about it. I will definitely reread this again, especially when book 2 comes out. I'll want to re-immerse myself into this absolutely great story. So have a great weekend. It's going to be a very, very busy weekend for Little Guy and myself. We've got a lot to do, a lot of videos to make, and a lot of new content to share with all of you. So I hope you guys will come back later this afternoon and then meet us over at the Friday Night Chill stream and Bruce Lombardo's Pathfinder game Saturday, and of course hanging out with us at Connell, the Cigar DM, on Sunday. So until we see you guys again, have a great day. We love you. Talk to you real soon. Bye.